everyone. So thank you for joining me again today. Today I want to have a conversation, and this is an open dialogue conversation. So those of you that are watching, I hope you write in the comments or maybe do a video response. But I kind of want to dive again back into the empathetic person and the narcissistic personality type disorder, and share my thoughts on it. Now, I know I have a video which you can look back on and see the differences of what I was talking about between a narcissistic personality and empathetic. And I always said that they're two sides of the same coin, essentially, that they're both looking to fill their voids, and through each other, they find a bigger mess. And so, but since I posted that video, I've noticed there's a lot of dialogue and a lot of conversation around the narcissistic type of personality and the empathetic person. And so kind of this is like an addendum video in a sense of that I kind of want to talk about what I've witnessed in the New Age community is that a lot of people really glorify being an empathetic person. And my thoughts on that are it's a little bit frightening, because while being empathetic means that you can relate to another person, there's a virtue in that. There's a virtue in wanting to have care for someone else. Just like it's a vice if you have no empathy for somebody, but it's also a vice if you have too much empathy. Because if you have too much empathy, you lose sight of yourself, and if you have no empathy, that means you have no sight of yourself, because you don't know why. Like, you can't relate to somebody else, it means you can't relate to yourself. And the narcissistic personality, there's times where you need to, be assertive and direct and not care about, not necessarily hurting people's feelings, but you can't necessarily always care about other people's feelings in the sense of if it's something that will move you forward. But that can be a vice if you, again, you only look at your own needs first, selfishly, or if you never look at your needs. Basically, between the paradigm of them both, there's a time and place for everything. And so the thing that brings concern to me is that everyone is trying to, I guess, fixate themselves, in my opinion, on holding one position glorious versus the other one, which is not. So the empathetic is a virtue overall compared to the narcissistic person, which is a vice. But like I said, again, I think that there is a certain danger in that, because if the world was full of empathetic people to the degree of where it's a vice, not only will nothing get done, but everyone truly would feel in a world of sorrow, because you would feel the different emotions of everyone, and everyone goes through so much in life. In astrology, you get to see a full chart, and in that chart, you get to see where your Leo is, where your Taurus is, where your Cancer is, and everyone has these energies. Everyone is not the same person at all times, and so we all shift, we all change, we adapt, and the danger, I think, with just glorifying the empathetic person is that you're not going to be empathetic to everyone you meet, and so to hold it on such a pedestal, I think it's in trying to conform not only yourself but other people to this ideal presents such a crux that not many people will be able to move past from. Because if we are promoting as a community and saying that these ideals are what's ideal, and if you don't match that ideal, then you're obviously the narcissistic personality disorder, then you're going to have people trying to strive for something that's unrealistic. Not only that, but you're going to have people striving to this unrealistic bar, but nobody truly can keep that bar the same every time you go to every place. Yes, we are consistent beings, but at the same time, you're going to have different roles and hats. And that varies obviously with your culture, your community, where you work, your society, everything of that nature. And so, to my family, I might be empathetic, but to my work and place, I might be the narcissistic asshole. And the truth is that you need to understand yourself first, truly. Because if the issue with, like I said, with the paradigm switch of both the empathetic ideal person and the evil narcissistic person is that you're both of them come from a place, especially if they're in their vices, of sense of lack. And so because of this lack and this need of not knowing self, of not understanding who the fuck I really am, I tend to just move on to, well, I don't know how to get my needs met because myself, and so I'm gonna push all these people to making sure I get my needs. That's the narcissistic personality disorder. I'm going to use other people to get what I can't get myself. Whereas the empathetic person does the same thing, but in a very subvert way. In a sense, I can't get my needs met myself, but if I cater and give and understand their needs, they understand that I need things too, and maybe they can help me. And so what happens is, in both situations, you don't know how to get your own needs met, and you don't want to take responsibility for yourself. But you want other people to take responsibility for the way that they hurt you if you're empathetic. Even if you're narcissistic, you're still going to want that person to take control of their responsibility that they hurt you. And so in both situations, you don't know how to get to your needs. But then you have to, once you get to that understanding, you have to figure out, what are your needs? What are your needs? Because let's say I have an expectation. I'm an empathetic person. And I have an expectation that my friends are going to go on a beach trip and I want to go too. So I'm going to say, I expect someone to invite me because I know what it feels to be left out and I don't want to feel left out. And so if I were to host a beach trip, I would go to all my friends and tell them, hey, I'm going on this beach trip, you want to come? Because I don't want to feel left out. But now my friends leave without giving me an invitation, so now I kind of feel left out. And so what's naturally going to happen? I'm going to hold some damn resentment on those damn people. How dare they? Are they really my friends? I'm going to question the hell out of everything because basically I wanted to go on that damn beach trip, but I wasn't asked. But at the same time, is it really a need? Well, yes and no. It's not a physical need that I need, but it's an emotional need. But A, in this situation, I wasn't direct. I didn't say, hey, there's room for more for this beach trip? No. B, I was expecting something because I wanted it, and if I was to flip it, I would necessarily give it to somebody else. But that's not necessarily true because you're thinking it as a hypothetical situation that you would have done something, but you don't necessarily know that until that situation plays out. But this is the problem with the empathetic mindset. The empathetic mindset feels that I feel that in this situation I would have done this, so I'm expecting you to do that. The same thing goes with the narcissistic person. The narcissistic person wants you to go and do X because they feel that X should be done regardless. And so you're supposed to do X. The empathetic person, you're supposed to do, you ought to. You feel owed, and you feel bitter and resentful when things are not met. And that goes with both personality types. So what my thoughts are is that the root of it all is you. And so, well, I guess I find intriguing in the community sense is that we want to glorify these or demonize these two positions or these two aspects of energies, but we don't want to talk about the root of why there is a narcissistic person, why there is an empathetic person to the point where they're walked on, trampled on, they hold resentment for the rest of their lives. They don't know how to move on from resentment. They don't know how to live life without saying, poor me, I'm the victim all the time. Yes, in a lot of situations, people are the victim. But what happens after that? How long are you going to hold on to being the victim without taking life into your hands and saying, you know what, this sucked, I'm hurt by this, but at the same time, I'm going to walk and live my life and let it be for what it was and take that experience and learn from it. I feel most people that I've been watching and reading and looking at, they don't want that aspect. They want to say, I'm the victim, I was owed this, I deserve that, this is what I'm owed. But with that mentality, you're never, ever going to heal yourself, because healing comes from you taking a good look at yourself and saying, what do I need and how do I get my needs met? Not, I don't know how to get my needs met, and so I expect you to get my needs. You know what it's like. I know what it's like to be you, so you know what it's like to be me. Expectation again. How can you fix me? How can you heal me? How can you make me a better person? But it's not about that. If you want to be a better person, you have to make yourself a better person. If you want your needs met, you have to figure out what your needs are and then meet them yourself. And that's not being narcissistic. That's not being selfish. That is truly getting to the root of yourself and allowing yourself to bloom as beautiful as this tree behind you. Also, when it comes to the narcissistic type of personality, when you meet those people, and if you're a super empathetic person, I think there's a danger in trying to identify if this person is narcissistic. I'm not saying that narcissistic people should get off the hook. I mean, they have their own damn issues. I think that if you meet a person that's narcissistic, cut them off immediately. Get side, bye, bye Felicia. They need to go. But you shouldn't also take your time and energy to figure out if they're narcissistic for you. Oh, well, I don't know yet. I can't deal with narcissistic people, so I need to make sure. No, that is living your life in fear. You're still not taking control of your life and meeting your own needs. You're looking at somebody else and saying, well, you can't be the one for me to get my needs met because you're narcissistic, and so I want to label you, I want to demonize you. But that person who's narcissistic, they could be the greatest person to somebody else. Just like you could be a narcissistic asshole to somebody else that you believe you're empathetic to. It's a paradox. That's what life is. It's duality. Light and dark. Black and white. Life and death. It goes on and on and on. And it's different aspects in different ranges to whoever you encounter. It changes. You change. We have different aspects. Astrology shows you this. Take a good look at a chart. You'll see. This person in this type of scenario is going to act like X. But in this scenario, they're going to act like Y. And they're unpredictable in that. Because everybody has a little bit of Aquarius in them. And that's a great thing, truly. And so I think the takeaway from this all is that we need, as a group, to move forward on what it is to be us. And help those empathetic souls that are hurting to find themselves and to heal themselves and to love them and truly love themselves and beyond the love to trust themselves. Because what happens is, we always say, oh, love will conquer all and all that stuff about love and light. And listen, I'm going to be very honest in this video. Love and light is not going to save somebody that is heartbroken. Love and light is not going to heal starving children. Love and light is not going to do anything but to those people who are truly in the darkness of their soul. And so we need to figure out, as a community, this is my belief, to really dive in and dissect a way to actually fundamentally help people. And that's to empower them to empower themselves. And so we don't need gurus, we don't need teachers. We need teachers in a sense of people helping to show others how to be themselves. Well, essentially, how to unlock the possibility of them to be able to find themselves. That's the true healing. Because once people are comfortable in their skin and know their healthy boundaries and know these different aspects of themselves, they will move on and progress in life and not look for other people in a sense of, you hurt me, I don't know how to heal myself because you hurt me. Because it's going to happen to them again and again and again and again and again and again. And I learned this the hard way, because if you do astrology, I have Venus in Pisces that squares like everything at 29 degrees. And so I'm getting closer to the end of shitty relationships. I was the empathetic person, lost in illusion, putting people on pedestals. I believed everyone deserved to be on a pedestal because they were so much better than me. In reality, we're all the same. We all shit. We all talk shit. Whether we want to say, I hide behind the darkness, or I'm a dark soul, or I praise love and light. To each their own. I mean, I'm not knocking those who believe in love and light. I'm just saying that we collectively could do better. And I think that, there's a lot of brilliant people, brilliant minds, brilliant souls, loving souls that we could, truly have a much stronger impact if we allowed ourselves to free ourselves from those goddamn chains that we hold ourselves to. Because we think that we deserve less or whatever it is. And so it's time to let it go, find ourselves, heal ourselves, and send the message to everybody else. Let's free ourselves from this prison that we have created. And it's time. Because time is running, ticking. Saturn's not, Saturn's a patient planet, but it's only patient for so long. And so, I really, this is what I wanted to share today, is that I feel that it's time to let the labels just be that, labels, and stop idealizing categories and roles, because we're all people and we have all these aspects. And so I think it's time that, if we want to further true harmony and true care to others, that we need to understand that, idealizing certain types of people and demonizing others for the sake of it is no different from religious beliefs. And, and that's not to knock religious beliefs, because religion is what you practice ritually, and spirituality is what you are, in a sense of how you practice yourself. That's how I see it. So, well, share your comments below. If you have a different perspective or take, I'm welcome to hearing that. I thoroughly enjoy it. And so, do a video response, write to me. And I know this is a little bit of a very different type of video. So I thank you for listening and watching. All right, take care.